Hi everyone, my name is Elony'a. I am a certified clinical hypnotherapist running my very own business called Divine Minds CCHT, and I've also been certified to train and practice past life regression therapy. Today, I want to talk about my very own personal experience with past life memories. So, more recently, I went to bed, and oftentimes I have difficulty sleeping. So I will put on some healing frequencies, some meditation frequencies, and I like to meditate before falling asleep because I feel as though it helps to relax both my mind and my body so that I actually can enter deep stages of sleep uninterrupted. So that is what I did. Just like any normal night, I tried that. I put on a different playlist of frequencies and not realizing that some of the frequencies in the playlist discussed past life memories, past life experiences. I didn't look through all the frequencies. I just shuffled it and put it on. Well, turns out that night I got to experience memories from a past life, and it was terrifying. I remember being fully aware the entire dream. And in the dream, as everything was happening and unfolding, I remember being myself, but in a different form. So I remember being a young man, probably in his late teenage years, maybe early 20s. I don't know the exact age. I feel like it was somewhere between 18 and 21. So I was very young. I was a young man. There were a few other young men around me too that were my friends during that time, but I was able to pinpoint who those people were in relation to my current life. One of them was my mother. So it was, believe me, it was a very odd experience, having full awareness the entire time and being able to understand, this isn't my current life. That's what I was experiencing. Not all at first. It took me a while because I knew I was dreaming, but I didn't realize at first, oh, this is a past life. So as the process is happening, I just remember thinking in my mind, this feels so familiar. This feels so real. And like I said, I was conscious, I was with the current time, but also in this time, I was thinking to myself, is this a movie that I've seen before? It has to be a movie. This feels so familiar. It feels like a movie that I've watched before. And remember, when you're going through past life experiences, past life regression therapy, you become the observer. You may be ingrained back into that life, but you're also still the observer. So you're able to observe those thoughts, your thoughts, other thoughts, everything that's happening all around you. It's crazy. It's wild. I remember driving at night. I wasn't the driver, but I was in the back seat. I remember observing the sky. It was a full moon that night, and I remember thinking how beautiful it looked outside. And my friends who were driving, they didn't tell me where we were going in this experience. So I was just along for the ride, wasn't really thinking too much of it. And we get to wherever they were trying to surprise me with. And I remember in this dream and this experience freaking out. At first, in my mind, I'm thinking, these are my friends. Did they set me up? And then realizing, by the end of the dream, after everything already occurred, realizing they didn't set me up. We were young, we were dumb. They thought it was a joke. They thought it would be funny. You know how a lot of young people, especially men, feel as though they are invincible at their young age. They think they can get away with anything. They're rebellious. They like to do crazy things that can get them into trouble. That was exactly what happened in this past life, in this memory, in this dream, and it led to all of our demise. So, like I said, they drove us to somewhere we were not supposed to be. I remember getting there, and it was kind of like a roundabout, and I remember it being a different culture of people. So it was almost like it was a cultural war. We were not supposed to be in their territory, and we were in their territory, and they saw us. And as they saw us, it was almost like gang activity. The man's wife saw us and laughed, and she was like, oh, look who it is. And she got her husband, and I just remember freaking out saying, leave. We need to get out of here. We are not supposed to be here. Leave. So whoever was driving sped off. We knew that since we got caught, we were in trouble and we had to leave. We had to get out of the area that we were comfortable with. So once we got back into our town, our area, we packed up our stuff. We got all of our money out of the bank and we were leaving that night. That's what we thought, but we were followed. So they followed us, they found us, and they killed us. They did. I'm sorry to use such terms. In this past life memory, in this experience, I remember being the last one to go. I remember watching my friends go down. I remember hearing all the sounds around me, the shots being fired. I remember feeling the pain in my body. I remember my thoughts right before I passed on and left that body. I remember thinking to myself, this can't be real. And I remember thinking to myself, this can't be the end of my life. I'm so young, like this can't be it. And I also remember thinking to myself, I'm ready to get out of here. Let me leave this body so I can get on to my next life. I remember thinking that. And then I woke up. By the time I woke up, I was like, that is not a movie. That is nothing I've ever seen on TV. It was so weird because I had this feeling of familiarity, like I've experienced that dream before. And I think I may have actually had that dream before while I was younger and just thought it was a nightmare. Never thought anything about it. But now with my current knowledge, my current experience, and my current field of work, I realize that was a past life memory. That was a past life experience from a not so good past life. I still can't fully wrap my brain around why my subconscious mind brought up that past life that night, the lesson I was meant to learn from that past life and that experience. I'm not fully sure. I have a few theories, such as, trust, rebellion, things of that manner, because of the themes that played out in that past life, in that memory, in that experience. But I'm not fully sure yet what I was meant to learn through that past life and why it came up at the time it did. Because with past life regression, we don't get to choose what past lives we are going to revisit or when they come up. They come up for a reason. Your subconscious mind is trying to tell you something, trying to show you something symbolic to pertaining to your current life. So I have not figured that out yet, but that was my most recent past life experience. I did not need a hypnotherapist to guide me through that experience. My subconscious mind did it for me while I was sleeping, and this is why we explain to clients a state of hypnosis can be very similar to deep stages of sleep because of the brain activity that's happening. When our brain waves slow down, our subconscious mind is able to open up more so that we can access some of those memories and those experiences that have been stored in there for so long. It's much easier for our minds to open up when we're sleeping, right before we fall asleep, right as we are waking up in the morning, and those beginning stages of waking up, and hypnosis. That is the most common times where we are able to access our subconscious mind, or even while we're writing, while we're free writing. We're not judging the experience, we're just letting words flow. You don't necessarily need a hypnotherapist to experience past lives. There are other ways, there are other exercises, and that's just my most recent experience.